game winning streaks.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Elias Game Plan. I'm Jimmy Wright, as always, and with the NHL Stanley Cup Final starting on Wednesday, I had to dial up my buddy Randy Robles to come and break it all down for us. Randy, how are you doing?
Good, thank you, Jimmy. Thanks for having me.
You're the only person I think of when I think of hockey. So, we got the Cup Final starting Wednesday. We got the Avalanche coming out of the Western Conference. We've got the Tampa Bay Lightning coming out of the Eastern Conference. Randy, break it down for us, please. How did we get here? Let's start in the East. Tell me about the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Tampa Bay is the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions. They're going to look for a three-peat. They're actually the first team to even have a chance to win 3 in a row since the Islanders won 4 in a row back in the early 80s. Your Islanders, I know, Jimmy.
Of course.
Before your time, right? But
thank you for that, Randy. I appreciate it.
So history is on the line, really. I mean, you're looking at a team in Tampa Bay that really in the salary cap era is doing something that is, was thought to be impossible, which is keep a team together like this with massive centerpieces and look to win three years in a row. Now, on the other side of the equation, you have Colorado, who is yet to win a Stanley Cup under this current team. They won 20 years ago. However, not under this current generation. Now they are really the team lying in wait in terms of being probably the best regular season team over the last few years. So you have this ultimate regular season powerhouse looking to break through. You have the old guard in Tampa Bay looking to hang on to power with their last bit of energy and strength. So it really sets up to be a really amazing final between the old guard and the new guard.
Cool. So you mentioned Colorado came out of the Western Conference. For even a casual fan, the biggest name in that series was probably Connor McDavid, right? Of the Edmonton Oilers, probably the consensus best player in the world. But I'm wondering, for a casual fan, you go to watch the Avalanche, who is a guy to highlight? Who am I keeping my eyes on that team?
Yeah, there's really 2 players, Jimmy, on that team to really watch, 2 superstars. One is the defenseman, Cale Makar. He's in his 4th season in the NHL. He's just he's a Norris Trophy candidate. He's amazing. I mean, he's playing in his 50th game. Game 1 on Wednesday will be his 50th playoff game. The only guys with as many playoff points through their first 50 games are Bobby Orr and Brian Leetch. So you got a guy who's a player that transcends time and space here with Cale Makar. But more importantly, in my opinion, is Nathan MacKinnon. He is the number 1 overall pick from 2013, I'm sorry, and he is 26 years old and really the leader of this team in Colorado. I mean, Gabriel Landeskog is the captain, but MacKinnon is the engine that makes this team go. For fans that haven't seen him play, this guy is just an incredibly fast player. He's big too. He's bigger than Connor McDavid. And just as fast. The difference between him and McDavid, I think, at this point in their careers, is that he has more of a supporting cast. Whether it's Mikko Rantanen, Gabriel Landeskog, and the aforementioned Cale Makar, he's got a real supporting cast around him that really helps him be a complete player and use all his assets. So, to me, Makar and MacKinnon are 2 guys to watch for Colorado. I mean, they're really worth the price of admission to see elite hockey being played.
And then on the other side, we got the Lightning. Steven Stamkos, 2 goals in Game 6 to put them over the edge. I'm guessing he's not going to be the guy. He's probably not what he once was. That's a star-studded Tampa Bay lineup. As you mentioned, as an Islanders fan, I watched them knock my team out twice in the Eastern Conference Finals recently. Bevy of talent. Who's the guy that would put them over the edge? Who is their X factor in this series?
Yeah, Stamkos certainly is one of many pieces to that puzzle. The 2 goals, like you say, that put him at 51 goals on the season. If you go back to the regular season, so he's sort of had like the sort of a bounce back year. He's in his early 30s now. His best years are certainly behind him, but to have sort of this renaissance was great. But yeah, the best player on that team to watch, the most important player in my opinion, is the goalie, Andrei Vasilevskiy. He is the best goalie in the world and has been for the last 5 years. He's the reigning Conn Smythe winner. He's the one that propelled them to to the championship last year. And with all the firepower on Colorado, he is the one guy he's the one antidote that could just extinguish all those flames on that Colorado side. So in my opinion, he's the guy to watch. If he has a great series, it'll be very difficult to knock the king off his throne.
Right. So the Avalanche have had all this regular season success the past 3 years, like you mentioned. The Lightning back-to-back cups. They're in their third final, and I wonder. You hear a lot about how playoff hockey is almost a different game from a regular season game, right? What happens in these playoffs that transforms this game in such a way?
In many ways, it's a war of attrition, and you're right. Regular season hockey is different from the playoffs in the sense that it's a different flavor of I don't want to use the word grittiness. Well, I'll use the word grittiness or physicality. It's just players are more willing to sacrifice and play hurt. Hockey's the only sport where in other sports players fake injuries to and this is the only sport where players have to fake that they don't have an injury.
Yeah.
So there's something to that where they will just play through the stories of players playing through broken feet and broken legs and broken arms, and it will always come out later after the playoffs that these players are playing hurt, or they'll have a torn hernia or whatever, but they will play through it, and so it's next guy up. There's an old saying that says or a riddle that says what's 25 pounds but takes more than 20 men to lift, and that's the Stanley Cup. And it really is, when it comes to the playoffs, these guys playing for each other, playing hurt, playing physical, playing maybe outside of their comfort zone. In the last series, for example, you had someone like McDavid, leading his team in hits. He's not a hitter, but he's doing it by example, and guys like that. So you really have this flavor of physicality. Now, Colorado is a team that has been this, like I said, regular season juggernaut, a very fast team. For fans that haven't watched them play much in the last few years, and just for example, if you just watch the Rangers series and now you're going to turn on and watch the Cup, you might think they're playing in fast forward. You might think, I got to check my TV because that's how fast they're playing. So, and Tampa Bay, they're used to playing. They'll play that grind. Although they're very, very talented, they will also play that physical game. They have, Victor Hedman is their stud defenseman. They also have Ryan McDonough. These guys that are physical. Ryan McDonough's like their smallest defenseman. He's like 6'1", 205 pounds. I mean, that's the smallest guy. So they're there. They will pound you. So you're going to see this bit of a irresistible force and immovable object type of series where you have this team that is like a playoff team. They're the best playoff team over the last 3 years in Tampa Bay, playing against this finesse. I don't say finesse so much. Finesse. They are a finesse team because they are so fast and skillful in Colorado. So you're going to see which is going to win. And Colorado could be physical too. I mean, they're going to have to be. But it's not their brand, and so you're going to have to see guys playing out of their comfort zone to reach for that brass ring, to go for the gusto, and to give everything that they have to win that cup.
So that's amazing that you talked about these guys that play hurt and styles change, and it's really attrition, right? It's such a long slog to get to the cup, but year after year we see guys do it, put their short-term, sometimes their long-term health on the line, and they all do it for the cup, right? That mystique around that Stanley Cup, around lifting it. You grew up in Canada. I know an outsized sort of importance, hockey up there, and that aura of the Stanley Cup. I'm wondering if you could talk to me a little bit about that.
It's the most famous trophy in sport. It's maybe the most famous. It's up there in terms of hardware. The actual Stanley Cup is up there with maybe the Queen's crown, or just in terms of things that are just like the most priceless things on earth. And at this point, it's the only trophy where if you win the cup, if you're part of that winning team, you get your name engraved on that priceless piece of. It's a priceless thing, and I liken it to it's like being able to sign your name to the Mona Lisa. I mean, that's how important it is. And these guys, we talk about the war of attrition. That's why they do it, is for that glory, the history of it all, and to sign your name really to this piece of this artifact that is priceless, and you become part of it. If you look back to 2018 when Ovechkin won his first cup.
Right.
I mean, him with that cup, he didn't let that out of his sight for 2 days. Everywhere he went, he slept with it. It's
and
really
they don't touch it, right? They, unless you've won it, guys will not pick that up. They won't
right.
touch the.
Right. A lot of people are very superstitious. They don't feel like they deserve to touch it unless they win it. Right. So, in many ways, the cup is the personification of every young kid's hopes and dreams. It's an actual physical representation of what they've always wanted what they've always wanted and dreamed about since they were 5 years old. And so to finally physically be able to touch that, to really touch their dreams and touch everything that they've sacrificed for physically and mentally, emotionally, their families, is something that is a high that, Jimmy, I don't think you and I will ever get a chance to know, but they do it, and they go for it, and they'll sacrifice everything for it. So now when you have and a team like Tampa Bay that's had it, they don't want to relinquish it. They don't want to ever give it up, because once it's gone, they may never touch it again.
Right. There's no let up, right? You think 2 in a row, they're satisfied. These guys have gotten theirs, but here they are 3 years in a row. They're back. It clearly, to your set, that's how much it means to these guys.
I think it's like a drug, in a certain way, where it's like they just want it and they want more of it. And like Lord of the Rings, like my precious, they just want that thing, that power, that feel of it all. And it only comes around at a certain time in your life. And that window is precious. And right. Here it is. So now you have 2 teams with that goal so close right now. They've been through 3 rounds of the playoffs. They're right there. And, I get excited thinking about it. Just what it means to these guys, what it means to the fans, what it means to everybody involved. And we're so close to crowning either a 3-time defending champion or the culmination of this dream that these kids have had since they were 5 years old, all these players on Colorado, to touch it for the first time. So, we're going to see, again, I like to say, it's like this movable force against irresistible force against this immovable object. It's coming to a head. Everybody wants it. Everybody's all in. They'll do anything for it. They'll sell their mother to, they'll do anything. They'll sell their grandmother just to get the cup and to be part of history. And like I said, it's like signing the Mona Lisa, really. I mean, you become part of the cup. I mean, it's the only sport in the world that really is a reality. And here we go.
So, Randy, one of the last times we spoke, you were telling us about your work for the NHL Network and how you provide statistical support for them throughout the playoffs. Does that carry through for the finals now?
Yes, absolutely. I think more important now than ever is, our relationship with NHL Network to continually contextualize and bring out great stats that tell the story and add flavor to the final. So the NHL Network has a fantastic research team of NHL researchers. What Elias does is supports those great researchers. We have a database and the ability to access this database at our fingertips. So, we could come up with stats in a very quick way, help with them with their ideas, and just sort of fill in the blanks, provide lists and full screens, things that you see on the bottom line at NHL Network or after the games or pre-game, those kind of things that help tell the story. So, so starting with Wednesday's game 1, for example, personally, I'll be in front of my computer, logged into or connected via email with the people at NHL Network, their graphics people, their producers, and most importantly, their researchers. And it will be a bit of a give and take. I'll be giving some stuff proactively. They'll be asking me some stuff. I'll be going back and forth and providing all that information and coming up with the best information that we can to tell the story and add that flavor to an already amazing event.
So you got to be on your feet, ready to go. If something happens on the ice, you spring right into action. You're looking it up. Last time it happened, whatever.
Yeah, Jimmy, it makes you look at the sport a different way, right? So I'm not just watching the sport to see what's happening, but you're also looking at it like for trends or for, significant pieces to the puzzle. For example, you have a final this year where, yes, Tampa Bay struggled a little bit against the Rangers, and you had Colorado sweeping Edmonton.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, look a little more closely, you see that both teams really are coming off 4-game winning streaks, right? Actually, Colorado's won 5 in a row, but both teams won 4 in a row in the conference final. How rare is that? We looked it up and found out that last time that happened was 1992 between Chicago and Pittsburgh. So, things like that really add to like how rare, how special something like this event really is what we do. And so we're always kind of looking for that extra little nugget of information, that historical context that makes you feel like what you're watching is something very important, which it is.
Yeah. So there it is. If you're watching the NHL Network, you see a cool stat, thank Randy Robles. Well, I hope everyone is half as excited as Randy is. We've got the breakdown of both teams. We've got the importance of the cup. The only thing left is Game 1's puck drop. That's on Wednesday. I know I'm going to be watching. I know Randy's going to be watching, continuing to give those great stats out during the series. Let's have a good one, huh, Randy?
All right. Sounds good, Jimmy. I'll be watching alongside you.
Great. Thanks again.
Thank you.